So this is the case analysis for FBK or FB Financial, FBK First Bank. Those names are interchangeable. So just a little bit of background. It was founded in 1906, chartered as Farmer State Bank. 1984, Jim Ayers and Steve White acquired it. 1988, they officially changed the name to First Bank, moved the headquarters to Lexington, Tennessee, and Jim Ayers became the sole shareholder. Throughout the 90s, they focused on expansion in West Tennessee, kind of Jackson, Humboldt, Camden areas. And by the early 2000s, mid 2000s, they focused on expansion in Middle Tennessee. They purchased the Bank of Murfreesboro. They also decided to move more heavily into Nashville, as well as more metropolitan areas such as Knoxville in East Tennessee and Memphis in West Tennessee. In 2015, they officially moved their headquarters to Nashville, Tennessee, and they were listed on the New York Stock Exchange in October of 2016. In 2017, they also announced an acquisition of Clayton Bank and Trust, which is headquartered out of Knoxville. So their strategy is, number one, first and foremost, to be a community bank. Now, what does that mean? Community banking means to exist for the customer. They want to basically provide the local community banking experience while offering the technology of a larger bank. So, according to the mission of First Bank, it's to remain true to our heritage as a customer-driven bank, dedicated to proactively providing first-class financial advice and solutions. They want to empower each market with decision-making authority. And so basically what that means is they want to provide some autonomy to their local managers and basically use that local knowledge to exist for the customer and provide and tailor-make financial products and provide financial services for that community. And so really what the focus is now is to expand in those existing markets. So the Porter's five forces. The intensity of rivalry in the banking industry, it really depends on how you define it. So at the national level, it's low market concentration. There's a large number of firms. It's an established industry. However, when you get to some of these more local community, rural communities, the concentration can be pretty high. I know in the home market of Lexington, Tennessee, where First Bank was originally from, First Bank has some 60-70% of the deposits. But the thing that really drives the intensity of rivalry is kind of what drives the bargaining power of the suppliers and makes them both high, which is low switching cost. It's fairly low. It's fairly low cost to go to change your account from one bank to another. And so, kind of transitioning into the bargaining power of suppliers or depositors, same thing. It's low switching cost. So the bargaining power is relatively high for a depositor. It's really not that costly to swap banks. As well as there's really little product differentiation as far as a savings account goes. I know First Bank, they do offer what's called a First Bank First Rewards card, and so that offers more than a traditional savings account, while at the same time basically operating as a checking account. So there is some product differentiation, but it's easy to imitate. So the bargaining power of buyers, high, or this would be borrowers. So there are multiple competitors. There's pretty standardized products, and the price competition is high. It's easy to go from one bank to another and say, well, they offered me this rate, and negotiate for a lower rate. Threat of new entry is low. The entry costs are high. You have to build branches. You have to add personnel, know-how, knowledge, and really the registration and regulatory requirements are pretty onerous to enter the banking industry. Threat of substitutes are low. There are no risk-free alternatives out there in the market. There are money market accounts and things of that nature, but for the most part, there's nothing that's going to provide 0% risk, FDIC insured deposits. The lending knowledge and access to funds to be able to provide the knowledge and know-how of a sophisticated financial product. A bank is pretty much your only option. So the driving forces. What are the driving forces in the banking industry over the next few years? So innovation, online products and services, as well as individual specific products. So consumers are demanding more online stuff. They don't want to have to go to a branch. Anything that you can do in a branch, they want to be able to do online. As well, individual specific products kind of ties into demographics. So we have changing age groups. What this means is, as each demographic group comes in, so as the baby boomers retire, they're going to have different financial needs. As the millennials age, they're going to need access to mortgage loans. They're going to need access to wealth management advice. And as a larger immigrant population comes in as well, they're going to have different financial needs. So it's going to be key that a bank is able to adapt and provide tailor-made financial services to a given group. Economics. So we're in about 8 years into an economic expansion. The longer that continues, the more likely that we're going to see an economic recession. And even the growth that we have seen has been lower growth relative to what we've seen in the past. But what this will provide is some mergers and acquisition opportunities. So as underperforming banks struggle along, they become potential merger targets or acquisition targets. Another driving force, always regulation. So the trend has been toward more regulation. Right now we have a Republican Congress, Republican president, but the overall trend post-financial crisis has been toward more regulation. What does that mean? Well, it means more compliance costs. We have to add additional HR. We have to add additional quality control, training. And what does that also do? It can also restrict the products that the bank can offer, as well as strategy restrictions. We can't act as fast to respond to ongoing events. So the key success factors really pretty much tied right up in to the driving forces. Technology. So going forward, banks are going to have to offer top-rate financial services through mobile apps and online.